Hey, thank you for coming by, Tory Magoo 44. Today is the 9th of December. Believe it or not, I think we're like 2 weeks away from Christmas. And happy Hanukkah to people celebrating Hanukkah. So there you go. I'm doing a video today on what Scientology calls Entheta. People throw it around a lot. You might hear it a lot. They certainly say it all the time. And I'm going to try to explain it as best I can. And I'm going to read it to you out of their technical dictionary. Excuse me. So you get the actual source on it. They're very big on you've got to have it from the source or it's not true. Okay, Entheta means interpolated theta. Theta is thought or life. So they consider you a thetan, right? You're a spirit, you're a person. Your thought, your life. All right, especially refers to communications which, based on lies, of course, and confusions, are slanderous, choppy, or destructive in an attempt to overwhelm or suppress a person or group. Okay, so think about that. Now, when you're in what I call the Scientology Truman Show, if you haven't watched the Truman Show, watch it. But that's really how Scientology is. You can't see the walls. You're in it. You get on the train. It's kind of a mind-controlled train. You don't know that. But you basically, it's like the Hotel California. You can check in, but you can't check out. And it's tricky. It's really, really tricky. So one of the things they use is, oh, that's Entheta. Don't read that, right? And you've heard it on some of the videos where we were kind of making fun of it, you know, what Scientologists say to others and stuff like that. You can Google that. Or what they say to themselves, right? Which Tiziano helped make and a bunch of other people. But basically, Hubbard had to come up with a way. There were people, he started in 1950 with Dianetics. That was his original book that he made. And it's pretty kooky in itself. And I'm not going to go into a whole thing on Dianetics, but the point was people started leaving his group, and so he had to come up with some reason to get the other people that were still in the group to not talk to those people that were learning the facts. So he started calling it Entheta. And he said, don't read that book, it's Entheta. Don't talk to those people, they're just Entheta. Meaning they're just filled with confusions. And they're basically, the second one is theta, which has been confused and chaotically mixed with the material universe and which will lie in the confusion until death or some other process disinterbulates it. So in other words, like you are going to be filled with this awful stuff until you die or until you go into session and they clean it up, right? So it's all more like you're just better off not knowing about it, right? And the third one is anger, sarcasm, despair, slyly destructive suggestions. Now, the truth is, I never read Ben Cordon's book, L. Ron Hubbard, Messiah, or Madman. I never looked at it. I never read John Atak's book, A Piece of Blue Sky. Both of those two books in themselves are filled with information about L. Ron Hubbard that he didn't want known. So they would just say, it's Entheta, don't read it, right? And then Russell Miller, who was never even in Scientology, wrote a book, Barefaced Messiah. And all three of those books were out for years, but Scientologists never read them. Now, tons of executives have left Scientology and have written their own stories. These are their own personal stories. Mark Headley wrote Blown for Good. Jeff Hawkins, Amy Scobie, David Miscavige's niece wrote a book. There are just tons and tons of Scientology books that are all factual. They're based on individual experiences working within the church, right? They don't want people to read those. Not at all. So they're Entheta. It's just this big label, Entheta. And if you really study mind control, that's how mind control works. They constantly kind of label things, scoot it over, don't look at it, keep you in a box, that kind of thing, so that you're not actually thinking, looking. Everybody's in a hurry, so you don't have time to think, really. And they're just like, just leave it alone, it's Entheta, right? And it's amazing. It's amazing that it happens that way, but that's how mind control works. So that is what Entheta is. The truth is, if someone says it's Entheta, go look at it, because it's probably factual and it's probably got information they don't want you to see. Because if you see it, you might wake up and leave like all the rest of us did. That's really what happened with me. It was enough. I finally got a crack into the dark, dark side of Scientology and went, I didn't get into Scientology to stop free speech. No. And once I realized that's all they were doing with the thing I was working with, I went, I'm out of here. That's it. And I mean, I know it sounds amazing that people can ever get into it, but you have to remember, most of us who got into it got in before the internet. There was no Facebook, there was no YouTube, there was no anything. There were no websites, there was nothing. You know, the only way you could find out facts was to walk over or drive over to someone's house who was already declared a suppressive person. And for any of you new people who haven't seen this, this is my SP declare. They declared me when? What is it? What does it say? September 15th, 2000. There you go. And they declare me, and what they do is they write up, my name was Tory, and that's my married name, or was, and they write up all these icky things about you that aren't true, you know, at all. I wasn't paid by anybody. I didn't have an affair. They finally canceled the affair thing because they realized, okay, because I just kept going up to him saying, hey, who do I have an affair with? I want to meet him, right? So they finally wiped that one off. But they have a whole bunch of lies up on the internet about me. And, you know, it's just constant, just big generalities now. And then at the back, they say her only terminal is the Continental Justice Chief via the International Justice Chief, right? Or it's the International Justice Chief via the Continental Justice Chief, who won't talk to me at all for 17 years. I've been out for 17 years speaking out. I wasn't going to speak out. I wasn't going to make videos. I wasn't going to do a thing. I wasn't going to pick it, nothing. But Scientology just kept picking on me. And you know what? After a while, you kind of go, I have free speech too. I do. I live in the United States of America, and we have a thing called free speech. And I have that right. And if you're a member and you're in and you're listening to this and thinking, I really shouldn't listen to this, it's really, really bad for me. No, it isn't. It isn't at all. I'm just talking to you. You're hearing some information. You've been told Entheta is really bad to see. The truth is, it is not. Most of the stuff that is labeled Entheta, in fact, I think everything that I know that's been labeled Entheta is dealing with truth and facts that they don't want you to see. So dig out the Entheta. I know it takes some courage to look at it, but do it. And to everyone that is on Leah's fan site, I cannot thank you guys enough. I say it all the time. It's like there really aren't enough words to say thank you. But I want you to meet Mr. Anonymous. This is Mr. Anonymous, and he's like internationally famous now. He's from Norway, where Andreas Heldeland from xenu.net, xenu.net, he has a huge website up. He was never in either, but he put up a website just putting together all the facts that he'd found around the internet. And I flew over to meet him, and I got Mr. Anonymous too. So I wanted to introduce you to him. So there you go. I love you guys. I thank you from the top and the bottom of my heart. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and a happy holiday. Bye-bye.